From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on
It's
LA
a big
Late.
noontime on Monday at noon here at LALATE with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. In this recording, we're going to go over the breaking news from the White House and Congress about that fourth stimulus check the Democrats want you to have, a monthly stimulus check. Then the second part of this recording, we're going to go over what the president said and his two-path process. And then the third part of this recording, we go over the breaking news as Mitch McConnell speaks out minutes ago and has a stern warning. But is it just a warning or much of nothing? I have all the incredible details in this recording. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall. That gives you another stimulus checks and lists your benefits a lifetime. And then in the middle recording, we go over the thousands of dollars of viewers continue to get, and it's your day to get that big money as well. It's a big noontime. I'm back. It's exciting details and a lot of breaking news. Let's get right to it on LALATE. Hey, good noontime, everybody. How you doing? Happy Monday. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. Hope you crushed the weekend. And now Monday. Hope Monday is not crushing you. How is the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat right now and tell me how the weather is and where you're tuning in from. It's warm here. It is too warm here at the moment. It's not particularly hot, but it's muggy, and I'm not liking it. So I hope you have better weather than I do. In this recording, we're going to go over that fourth stimulus check, how much those Democrats want you to have, and when you're going to get that fourth stimulus check. And then in the second part of this recording, we're going to go over the breaking news as the president has two paths, the recon and the bipartisan. And we're going to go over how it's now protected in a fort with a lot of money for you. And then in the third part of this recording, we go over the breaking news as Mitch McConnell spoke out minutes ago, and I have his comments, and I'll have all the explanation about what Chuck and Nancy are doing with it. And then we'll be cutting to fifth stimulus, which gives you another stimulus check and raises your benefits up a lifetime. And it's all wonderful details with a lift you're going to be very excited to hear. And then we go over the big money that viewers continue to get. Viewers are getting $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. It's your day to get it as well. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning and taped in the afternoons. I'm next back with you with Afternoons LALATE at 3 o'clock today, and then Evenings LALATE, new shows, and then overnights crypto. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Fastest growing channel of its kind. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like the video. It delivers a piñata. Every time you like, it delivers a piñata. Is that what you told me? I mean, that's what I've been told. And consider becoming a member. And let's get right into that first part of our fourth stimulus check update of 2021. Those Democrats want you to have a monthly stimulus check still. We'll go over how much at issue, starting with the House and the Senate. The House plan, actually House bill, provides a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate plan proposes a stimulus check from July to December. Let's go over the monthly payouts. House bill, $1,000. After first month, $2,000. Senate proposal, monthly unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Oh, wow. That's deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000 a person. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400 a person. If you're on the live chat just after 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Monday, get ready to vote House of Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. But not just yet. Let's look at this. Pandemic plus 1 year, well, those legislators may contend the pandemic's just over, and then they'll reduce it to 1 year stimulus checks. 12 months from the House, which under the House bill is $13,000 from Jalapal, compared to the Senate over 6 months. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House of Senate. Vote House of Senate and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather at noontime on Monday. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? You do. The Democrats represent that you get a fourth stimulus check if you got a third stimulus check. People who are single individuals, you get a fourth stimulus check. $75,000 or less, Democrats want to give you one. Married couple, Democrats want to give you a fourth stimulus check, double it, $150,000 or less income. Family of four, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits. Congratulations. The fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for everyone. The fourth stimulus check is not income, it's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check would come monthly. It would not come in waves. It's not a waivable check. So if you see the check at the boutique today, checking out some new pants, say, hey, check, how are you? I see you're checking out some pants. How are you doing? Didn't wave back. It's not a waivable check. It won't wave back. I hope you tear those pants. I hope you tear those pants and just show your check everywhere. It's not a waivable check. And so don't expect to have it waved back to you at the boutique. There you go. The fourth stimulus check would come in the month of July, for the month of July, in the month of August, for the month of August, whether wearing pants or not wearing pants. And they represent the final vote would be by July 4th. And there you go. That is the first of your three parts of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. But in the second part, we go over what the president did over the weekend, what he did today. And the third part of this recording, we will go over what Mitch McConnell said minutes ago about the fourth stimulus passage. Oh boy, exciting breaking details. Stay with me for that. Coming up, a big recording on this extended noontime broadcast. But let's get a preview of the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus, and fifth stimulus will be raising up your benefits lifetime and give you another stimulus check? Yes. And we're going to go over why Jay Powell's comments are so wonderful and why the new economic data expected this week will validate that even more. But let's get some money. Let's turn and get some money because it's Money Monday. It's Money Monday. And if you're new to this channel, that's what I do. I give people lots of money. And if you got in a penny from this channel, jump into the live chat right now and say what you got. And if you said it before, say it again. Inspires viewers. Nisi, over the weekend, said that she had gotten rent, utilities, and SNAP from this channel. And last week we had one viewer get $12,000 for rent, another viewer get $10,000. So get that pen and paper ready. And if it must be a Crayola crown, I'm sure you still have some purple Crayola crowns in there. Stay with me to the very end because I have a lot of money to get you. We're going to go over rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners utilities. Each place has different pots of money. So if one place says no, reach out to the next. All right, here you go. The rent is a lot of money. Now, I say it's about $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent, but I was disproven last week as viewers got $12,000 and $10,000. So you're going to reach out to different places. Here you go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's fan club. I don't know those things. I don't know those things. Does he? No, I don't. Does he? No, I don't think. I've never heard of these things. So they won't know what you're talking about if you say the wrong words. And congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this money as well. If you're new to this channel, this is what I do. I give people a lot of money. This is not a channel to figure out what day in the month of July your check is laying in your bank account or in your hand with the donut. This is the channel to get tens of thousands of dollars right now. And that's what I did in fall 2020. As we were waiting for second stimulus to pass, it was the holidays. People needed money, and I got viewers a lot of money. I got Tyrone and countless others money for rent. $250,000 I got viewers. Tyrone, $15,000 for a family of 4 in Boston in December of last year. But in spring of last year, I got viewers EIDL, $25 million of it, saving their businesses' homes and also their employees' homes. So go get this money. And the next part of the money is SNAP. It's wonderful. Gail got it. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. And in the last 2 weeks, we've had viewers get $5,000 and $6,000 to $7,000 for it. What is it? It's money for food. You get it from reach out to Department of Agriculture. Call up Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is about the same as a stimulus check. It's wonderful. How much? About $16,000 a year for a family of 4 in Hawaii. Wow, why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. $15,000, $16,000 for SNAP. $5,000 for rent. We're killing it. You're killing it. The check, you're not really killing it with those jeans on. No, they don't fit you. It shows your check. We're only 10 minutes into this video. Well, we got a big pot of money, and the next pot of money is coming back from your states. The federal government has identified states as owing you back money. It's because of computer error. States had overpaid you unemployment benefits due to computer error and then asked you to return the money. One viewer got that $5,000 back. The federal government has ordered it back to you. So where are you getting it? Direct deposit to the account you have on file with your state. When are you receiving it? Call up your state and ask them to track the check. And when you call them up, ask them to track the check that you're owed due to computer error with a computer and track it with a computer that actually works. Thank you. And finally, the wonderful money coming back from IRS. If you got this as well, jump in the live chat and tell other people, because everyone that shares information inspires someone else. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. How much is that money coming back from IRS? Let's go over the details starting right now. Let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits and you paid $5,000 of IRS taxes total, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. You're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit that was on your return, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yes. Go to irs.gov. Do a transcript search. And 70% of the time it works. You'll be shocked by the shocking revealing details it will give you. It will reveal the check you paid, the tax return you filed, why Mitch's lobster sauce is so delicious. Why is Mitch so fascinated with lobsters? And the check you're getting back from IRS, it'll show you the date. And there you go. Is there something more wonderful than that? It is. With the breaking news as we go into the second of your 3 parts of your 4th stimulus check starting right now. A week ago today, your 4th stimulus checks were in a reconciliation package. Today, they're in the same place. So they didn't move? No, they didn't move. Oh, okay. So what happened? Well, over the last 3 weeks, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer were having meetings with the president, saying the recon's a little too big. It's sort of like a TV show with too many cast members. We need to take a few of the cast members, maybe 2, and spin them off in their own spin-off TV series. And last Wednesday night, they had a final meeting with the president and said, I think it's time to spin off those cast members. And with that, they decided it's time to spin off those cast members. And that spin-off series, that spin-off TV series became known as the Bipartisan Agreement. The Bipartisan Agreement spun off items that have nothing to do with you, don't concern you. What's in the spin-off? In that bipartisan spin-off is roads and bridges. It's not your stuff. Your stuff is still where it was, in the recon. 4th stimulus, checks, your checks. The president's climate, the president's cares economy. All the wonderful, massive, progressive spending items are in the recon, were in the recon, and still are in the recon. As of Thursday, we then had 2 paths. Number 1, all your stuff, still in the recon. And number 2, the bipartisan stuff, roads and bridges. Not your stuff, roads and bridges. This became quite wonderful for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, for the first time, your stuff had a clear identity. Over the last certain weeks, you've seen enough people, naysayers, saying, this is just about roads and bridges. To which people say, no, it's not. It's about 4th stimulus. It's about our checks. It's about checks for seniors. It's about medicine for seniors. It's about also climate. It's also about money for families. There's a lot of money that is progressive, that is in 4th stimulus. No, it's only about roads and bridges. Well, now no longer do we have that identity problem, because the roads and bridges is far, far away from us. It is now separated out. And now we can proudly say that everything that had nothing to do with us is far away from us in the bipartisan. Roads and bridges, everything else that has nothing to do with us is in the bipartisan. And all our deliciousness is in the recon. That was the first great news about this. The second great news about this is that suddenly there was a very nice fort to protect. The fort is the recon, and the recon is very, very progressive. Everything in there is progressive ideologies. And ironically, a week ago, last Friday, we had a spoiler of the spin-off series. Jalapa. Jalapa had given us a series of quotes that suggested something was about to happen. Jalapa and Brian Schatz, both Democrats and progressives, had said that the White House said, thank you for protecting my progressive ideas, and I'm protecting your progressive ideas. And which we said, what do you mean protecting? What are we protecting? Well, now we see what we're protecting, because your checks from Jalapa are progressive. The president's climate is progressive. The president's CARES economy is progressive. And now they're in this beautiful fort. That fort, well, it's still in that beautiful fort, but now that fort is only progressive. It's only for stimulus. And everything that's not progressive is out of the fort. It's down the road. It's in the next town. It's roads and bridges. And with that, that is how we went into the weekend. Now, are they linked? Are they merged? Are they tandemed? Is one going for a vote before the other one going for a vote? All those details in the third part of this video, as Mitch McConnell also speaks out as well. We've had a lot of breaking news in just the last 48 hours with Nancy, the president, Chuck, and now Mitch all talking about this voting process. Not so much the substantive process, but as if you needed anything more wonderful to validate our recon. Mitch McConnell minutes ago spoke about your recon and trash talked it, saying it's all progressive policies and lots of checks for people. Thank you, it is. Sorry you don't like it, but it is. And how did we get to that wonderful spot? From Jalopal, of course. Jalopal had written a letter to Chuck Schumer about 2 weeks ago saying, Chuck, call the vote. Call the vote on the recon. Now, that letter was co-signed by 12 House Democrats who were among the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, Mr. President, we're going to be putting multiple stimulus checks in that fourth stimulus package. Recon. Wow, can we top that? Yes, we can. As 7 House subcommittee members, Democrats, wrote the president a letter about a week ago saying we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Remember these people, because I'm going to be bringing them up later in the video. They're on the House subcommittee. Who are they? They wrote your first stimulus check. They wrote your second stimulus check. They wrote your third stimulus check, recon. And they're representing their writing your fourth stimulus check, recon. And they represent their writing your fifth stimulus check, recon as well. You see the recurring theme? They wrote recon, they're writing recon, and they're doing a fifth stimulus recon in the fall. That's coming up later in this video. Wow, can we top that? Great news, we can. As the President of the United States 2 weekends ago went overseas and got 4 stimulus recon anchored to the finish line, to the edge of the finish line, by getting the international corporate tax rate raised for the recon. You see something familiar in what I'm saying here? The word recon. Why? Because if you go back to those 2 paths, taxes have nothing to do with the bipartisan. In fact, the bipartisan wants to stay far, far away from taxes. But your recon is all supported by taxes. For stimulus, recon is supported by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. But the president was worried that companies may move overseas if the corporate tax rate is higher here. So he reached out to those other countries overseas and said, raise your corporate tax rate, raise it up. And they tentatively said, yeah. And then the president said to his staff, I like how this is going. In December, let's go bring them some potpourri, Jill's favorites potpourri. And then we'll meet them and have them sign on the dotted line. Well, that someone on his staff had a great suggestion. Mr. President, you can bring potpourri in June. Oh, that's a good idea. And 2 weeks ago, on Saturday, he went overseas and got them to sign on the dotted line. Before for stimulus, anchoring for stimulus recon to the finish line, because now it's easier for the Democrat caucus to pass it because the legislation about international corporate taxes is covered into the international agreement. Your recon is even easier to pass than it was before. Wow, can we get better news than that? We can, as we go into our third major part of your fourth stimulus check update after the commercial break. The big developments of the president, Nancy, Chuck, and Mitch talking about the voting process. I'll have breaking news you're going to hear for the first time on noontime LA in that big update. And then the fifth stimulus, another stimulus check and raising your benefits up. Is there something more wonderful than that? Yes, the volunteers. They are the true embodiment of the Purple Power spirit. If you've had problems getting rent, utilities, mortgage, or internet, reach out to them. How do you find them? Open the description of this video. You'll see an emoji of a house. Next to the emoji of the house, there'll be a link to the community page. That link to the community page is news.lalate.com/community. Click the link, and then it'll send you over to the community page. It'll have a picture of some kitty cats. They're not your volunteers. They're just kitty cats. Lower on the page of the volunteers. Now, they cannot cook you a tostada. They cannot give you ingredients to Mitch's famous lobster sauce. They cannot tell you how to get tickets to Mitch's Lobster Fest 2021. But they can get you all that other stuff. And I'll have big, exciting details about fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus right after this commercial break about the volunteers. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues on noontime LALATE with big exciting details about your fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus you're going to hear for the first time on noontime. How's the weather where you are? Thank you for joining me on a big extended broadcast. We got a lot of details coming up. So subscribe. At 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Also, like this video and consider becoming a member. Viewers in the live chat just now were sending hugs and wishes to Sandy and Crystal. I don't know what happened, but I send my hugs and wishes to them as well. In the second part of this video, we'll be going over big details about fourth and fifth stimulus. And don't forget to tune into Afternoons LALATE and Evenings LALATE where you're going to see a surprise announcement from me. Yes, a big surprise announcement. But let's cut to fifth stimulus. Boy, a fifth stimulus is heating up. And fifth stimulus is really wonderful news. Number one, they're going to give you another stimulus check. That stimulus check is coming from those from those House subcommittee members again. They're going to be writing it up in September, going for a vote in about October, November, and then going out in January. This is a January 2022 check. Number two, the president has dedicated a wonderful $1 billion to Social Security Administration in his new budget to ensure that your checks going forward come on time. This is your third stimulus checks that were delayed as the reason for this going forward. No longer will checks be delayed. Fourth stimulus on time, fifth stimulus on time, and your benefits checks on time. Finally, raising up your benefits lifetime, oh yes. Let's go over how this works and why the incredible news from Jay Powell is just wonderful. They're going to be raising up your benefits and applying a new benchmark, which is inflation. And on Wednesday last week, Jay Powell gave us two great news statements. Number one, in regards to fourth and fifth stimulus, he said he will be providing, or the Federal Reserve will be providing, Fed stimulus all the way to 2022. He says this economy continues to need more stimulus. This is great. This is ammunition for fourth and fifth stimulus. But he also said that the inflation rate will reach its highest spot in December. OMG. That's one of the three things we want. We want this bill to pass in fifth stimulus. We want the inflation rate to reach its highest point in December, and we want that number to be high. Let's go over why this is huge. First, they're going to raise your benefits up under this SSI reform, and then they're going to apply that benchmark. Let's go over what is in this fifth stimulus so you understand it, and we'll apply the calculation right away. First, they're going to raise your benefits up. Then they'll apply a new inflationary benchmark. They'll remove the asset limit, and they'll remove the income exclusion, remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this works. First, they'll raise your benefits up if you are on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, or survivor benefits. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. That benchmark is inflation. Now, you know the benchmark and how it works. It's applied in December, impacts your benefits for next year. And you know the inflation is going up. And now you know from Jay Powell that inflation rate will be at its highest point later this year. So what's going on? Let's do the analysis. Many Wall Street analysts, including those that saw the CPI and the PPI, the labor number on Friday and the unemployment number on Thursday, said that we're about 4% inflation going to about 10% inflation in December. Let's use that number. That would mean your benefits would step up 10%, not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. If the year after that the inflation rate is 1%, then your benefits would be +1, plus 10%. It's wonderful, wonderful news. Next, they're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. Now you'll be able to have some stimulus checks in your hand and room for a taco. They're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. Now you'll be able to work and also receive a stimulus check. And receive your benefits. And then finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and the marriage penalty will end. Viewers will no longer fear the marriage penalty or be penalized for being married. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer worry about the marriage penalty. And there you go. That's fifth stimulus. But how are those viewers getting $5,000, $10,000, $12,000 from this channel? They're becoming members. Members are delivered daily a breakdown of the big money you can get under third stimulus. Consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. When third stimulus was passed in spring of this year, I said, yeah, you're going to get a $1,400 stimulus check. But I don't want you tracking what day in the month of February you're getting $1,400. I want you getting $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Like Nisi said, thank you, LA, for teaching me, because I went out and got 3 sets of money. She's passing far over $15,000. That's a lot more than a $1,400 stimulus check. In fact, it's an extra zero. She became a member, and she learned, and she got that money. So consider becoming a member so you're delivered daily from me via the YouTube community page, a breakdown of all the money that's available for you, application-based, in third stimulus. And be ready for all the money that's available for you under fourth and fifth stimulus as well. Which brings us back to our third and big finale of our fourth stimulus check update of 2021. Well, here we go. Let's go back and understand the two paths. And then we're going to go over what the president said, what Nancy said, what Chuck said, and what Mitch said minutes ago. There are two paths. We had started a week ago with just one path, a recon. Had a lot of stuff in there, too much stuff in there. And so what did Nancy and Chuck and the president agree to do? Take some stuff out of the recon and spin it off as a spin-off series called Bipartisan. Not your stuff, their stuff. Roads and bridges. Doesn't concern you unless you own a bridge, and I don't want to buy it. Your stuff is still where it is. It's still in the recon. You're still where you are in the recon. Stimulus checks for you from Jalapal. Climate. Progressive policies. Progressive policy after progressive policy. Social reform policy, as Mitch McConnell calls it. It's clear more so than ever before what your items are, because they're in a very, very progressive fort called recon. So then that calls the question, how are they voting on this? Well, it's becoming very fascinating. In the case of second stimulus, third stimulus, and first stimulus, everything started in the House, then went to the Senate, then went to the president. Last Thursday, the president and the bipartisan group and Nancy and Chuck all agreed that everything would start in the Senate and then go to the House. Why? Because they wanted to all prove in the Senate. What happened by midday Thursday? By midday Thursday, the president, Chuck, and Nancy spoke. What did Nancy and Chuck say? Nancy and Chuck said that everything needs to start in the Senate and that they need to be called for a vote at the same time, and that the House will not receive anything unless both pass the Senate. The president spoke, and he said that if you try to send him only the bipartisan and not with the recon, he will veto it. That caused turmoil for some of the bipartisan negotiators because the word veto was never discussed. The president on Saturday made a very interesting comment. And I got to tell you, as a personal message, I think Mitch was probably watching this channel, because you're going to see in a second, Mitch says exactly what I said. It's as though he watched me and realized there was something missing from the president's comment. On Saturday, the president of the United States said, I made a mistake. I didn't mean to say veto. I will not veto the infrastructure, but I want everything to pass together. I've urged Chuck Schumer to call the vote on both pass at the same time. And I've encouraged Nancy to call the vote on both things at the same time. And I wish that both things land on my desk at the same time. Interesting how he says it. He doesn't say they're actually linked or tandem, two words that everyone's talking about. But he says, I encourage it to be done that way. Meaning he's not running the House and he's not running the Senate. He's just giving guidance what he wants. Wow, what did Chuck and Nancy say between Thursday and Saturday, or Thursday today? Basically what I told you they would say. They are keeping them linked, and if you try to unlink them, they are imploding everything. Chuck's clearly, what is he doing? He is making sure that the bipartisan and the recon are called for a vote in the Senate at the same time. And if you try to do the bipartisan without the recon, he's going to implode it. Even more obvious, he's going to get the recon passed first. Hello? Do you think he's going to call the bipartisan first for a vote in the Senate? Of course not. Chuck is going to call the recon for a vote first, and then the bipartisan. Then, what has Nancy said? Well, Nancy receives whatever Chuck does. But in the event that something goes wrong for some reason, which is never going to happen, Nancy said the following: if you try to send me in the House just the bipartisan without the recon, I'm taking the bipartisan and throwing it in the garbage. So going into this morning, I said, you're fine. You're fine, because clearly Chuck is going to call your recon vote first, and then he's going to call the bipartisan, and then he's going to send both of them to Nancy, and Nancy's going to do recon first, and then bipartisan, and then they're going to go both to the president. So what did Mitch say today? I watched LALATE over the weekend. I realized there's a problem. No, I mean, that's basically, it just sort of sounds like that's what he's saying. He said, I listened a little bit carefully to what the president said, and he says, I'm not going to do that. That's trying to set me up. That's trying to do your recon first. And he says that darn thing with all those checks for people and that social justice, social reform stuff for checks for Americans. I'm not doing that first. You call my bipartisan first. And if you want to go do your social justice thing later on, you can do it later on. So Mitch clearly saw what was going on. Needless to say, Mitch doesn't have his way because he's not in charge anymore. So Mitch is very upset that, obviously I saw and you saw and all the, hundreds of millions of viewers on the show saw that there was a way for Chuck and Nancy to do exactly what they want. The president is not actually linking it himself, but they're linking it, Chuck and Nancy. And Mitch is furious. Sorry, Mitch, you're not in charge. Be as furious as you want to be furious. So there you go. Can they still do the checks in the month of July? Yes. Can they get the vote done in the month of July? Yes. Is this a better position than it was before? Yes. Do I have any personal opinions about the situation? I do. Last year was an election year. This is not an election year. So I know that Nancy and Chuck were doing certain things last year because of an election year. But last year, Nancy had a very clear message, which was never separate things out, because when you separate things out, then suddenly the stuff that's hard to pass doesn't pass, and the stuff that's easy to pass passes. Remember that last year? Well, clearly it has now been separated out. Am I concerned that it looks different than how they did stuff last year? No. Because when you're in control of the House, when you control the Senate, you call the vote on what goes first. If there was one thing you learned from this channel from last year, things can just never be called for a vote, because Mitch McConnell was in charge last year. Now that Mitch McConnell is no longer in charge, Chuck Schumer determines when things are called for a vote. He determines when things are called for a vote, and Nancy determines when things are called for a vote. And Mitch will literally scream from the rafters' edges about wanting something called for a vote first. He's not in control. He's not in control. And there you go. So next, Purple Power. It's very important to understand what one viewer named WR did on Noontime, this show, last Friday. He went into the live chat and he said, you know what I did? I picked up the phone and I called Senator Coons' office. Who's Senator Coons? Democrat out of Delaware. Joe Biden's closest confidant. Actually, also part of the bipartisan caucus. And what did he do? He spoke to the secretary. He prepared in his mind what he was going to say about multiple stimulus checks and made it very clear. And what did that secretary to Senator Coons say? The response that WR wrote in the live chat is Senator Coons' office said that he is writing the multiple stimulus check provisions for the Senate. Wow. Now that's wonderful news. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to say a double wow and that's wonderful for you, because I do not want you to be holding that donut and now asking for another donut and putting your feet up on that lazy boy chair, because that's not you. I know that's not you. You need to do what WR did, because what he did was wonderful. You need to pick up the phone and call your Democratic senators. If you don't have a Democratic senator, if you only have a Republican, then call up another state's Democratic senators, like Coons or Sanders or Warren, and prepare ahead of time in your mind what you're going to say. Why you need stimulus checks, because everyone's message is very personalized. Maybe your town is still very unemployed. Maybe all the businesses shut down in your town. Maybe there's just not enough relief in your town. And express why it's important to have those stimulus checks. It's important to understand that early in this video, I talked about that House subcommittee writing up those monthly stimulus checks. Understand, the fact that it's starting on the Senate side means much of nothing, because Chuck in January this year, had a brilliant idea. Always have Senate subcommittees and House subcommittees work together on these stimulus packages, because they are the same caucus and they agree upon the same things. So the fact that we're starting the Senate doesn't mean much of anything. Call up your progressives. Call up, because ultimately it's the progressives who are fighting for you, and it's the senators who are starting the path in the Senate. And with that, thank you for joining me on this extended noontime broadcast. Join me on Afternoons LA with a special announcement, but more breaking news across the board, because boy, the details of this are still unfolding. I'm going to have big new details you're going to see on Afternoons LA. And then on Evenings LA, it's even bigger, as a lot of stuff is unfolding, still about fourth and fifth stimulus of all those big details. That's 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock, followed by Overnight's Crypto. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, and get delivered to you daily all the items that are in that third stimulus, so you, like Nisi, can get several items across the board. Stay informed, stay focused. I'll see you next on Afternoons LALATE.